Hi all. Today we are going to explain the second section of the poem Passage to India by Walt Whitman. Here the poet begins with a description of the speaker's intention to go on a travel, that is passage to India. Actually, this passage is a spiritual voyage, or through the physical reality, he is going to the ultimate reality, that is spirituality. This trip is enhanced by the speaker's views of that the Asiatic. What the primitive fables will be. He has an idea on the myths Asiatic and the primitive fables. He is speaking to his soul to travel. That is a wondrous travel. Passage or soul to India. Passage or soul to the India eclairize the myths Asiatic, the primitive fables. Eclairize means to explain, make it clear. So he had to explore the myths Asiatic myths and ancient fables. These fables and myths these are abundant of meanings. They are brim with several meanings. So he had to explore or explain the Asiatic myths and primitive fables. Not you alone, proud truths of the world, nor you alone, ye facts of modern science, but myths and fables of old Africa's, Asia's fables, the far-darting beams of the spirit, the unloosed dreams, the deep-diving Bibles and legends, the daring plots of the poets, the elder religions. Here, the speaker explains that the reader should realize that the passage, the travel, he is going on, is a result of both modern wonders and Asian legends and stories. He can make this voyage, this travel, by the help of both the modern marvels of the world as well as the Asian legends and stories. He can do this passage. Nor you alone, proud truths of the world, nor you alone are helping the speaker, helping me to make this voyage successful. Nor you alone, ye facts of modern science. See, the ancient fables are not alone, and modern wonders are not alone, but the myths and fables of old, myths and fables of ancient community. Old means Asian's community, that is Asia's and Africa's fable. These had helped him to go on this voyage. The far-darting beams of the spirit, the unloosed dreams. There is no limitation to dreams. See, he is thinking. The far-darting means the far quickly moving beams of the spirit. The unloosed dreams, see the dreams which are unloosed, which are being held free, the deep diving Bibles and legends, the daring plots of the poets, the courageous stories of the poets, the elder religions all have helped him to go on this venture, that is the spiritual voyage. He is going to seek the ultimate reality. See, just like the modern one days and ancient spirit, it is equally important to recognize the far darting beams of the spirit. See, the quick moving rays of the spirit and the deep diving Bibles and legends. These stories of the East provide the speaker with a spiritual guide on his travels. So, these all are must to complete the travel. They are as necessary as the modern one days and ancient spirits. O you temples fairer than lilies poured over by the rising suns. Are you fables spurning the non, eluding the hold of the non, mounting to heaven? You lofty and dazzling towers, pinnacled red as roses burnished with gold. All you temples, he is addressing temples. Fairer than lilies, these temples are fairer than lilies poured over by the rising sun. These lilies are glowing by the rays of the rising suns. O you fables of Asia, spanning the non, you are quickly moving the non, at the same time eluding, slipping the hold of the non, slipping the grasp of the non, mounting to heaven. You lofty, you beautiful and dazzling towers, lofty, higher, and dazzling, shining towers, pinnacled, they are highest, red as roses, burnished with gold. So, these all fables, myths, whatever it is, or the modern one days, ancient myths, Asiatic myths, they are temples fairer than lilies. They are temples fairer than lilies. See, a peculiarity of these lilies are that they are being washed by the rising sun and are of dazzling towers pinnacled red as roses burnished with gold. He is appreciating those ancient myths and fables which are just like temples fairer than lilies. So, and towers of fables immortal fashioned from mortal dreams. See, these myths, fables are towers of fables immortal fashioned from mortal dreams. You too I welcome and fully shame the rest, as and fully the same as the rest. So these all have the important role. They function as the one day's function in this passage, in this voyage, in this travel to the world of spirituality from the world of reality. You too with joy I sing. So I also appreciate you too. That means in the first stanza or the first section, the poet had concentrated on modern one days. These modern one days have helped to connect the world with each other. They have helped in improved communication, then that they have helped in bringing unity among the vast spread world, vast divided world. So they have helped in bringing unity in the mind of the people. Just like this, the equal importance should be given to the myths Asiatic and fables of Africa and far-darting spirits of the ancient period and unloosed dreams of the mind, the free dreams of the mind, and deep diving Bibles, legends, and the courageous stories of the poets and the religions of previous period. These all have equal importance in the speaker's spiritual travel from the world of this material physical reality. So he is appreciating these myths, Asiatic or fables, Africa's fables, Bible, elder religion and all, just like as he is appreciating the modern wonders of Suez Canal, transatlantic cable and railroads passage to India. Lo Sol, seest thou not God's purpose from the first? The earth to be spanned, connected by network, the races, neighbors to marry and be given in marriage, the oceans to be crossed, the distant brought near, the lands to be welded together. Passage, travel to India. He is in wonder. Lo Sol, look, Saul, seest thou not God's purpose from the first? See, the world is being divided into several continents, several regions, nations, and seas are there across. And it is being divided into vast areas, and people itself are being divided into several races, colors, sex, and whatever it is, there are several divisions. But God had such a purpose from the first itself. So you can see that, seest thou not God's purpose from the first, that the earth to be spanned. Earth, even though so wide and such vast, it should be connected by network. That is being done by the modern wonders. See, the three wonders had brought the connection between divided people, divided races, neighbors. And even God had a plan to marry the different sexes and be given in marriage. So, it is the purpose of God to make all the people united. That is being done by the modern wonders. Oceans to be crossed. It was his purpose, God's purpose. That is being done by people. The distant brought near. That is being done. Now the distant is being getting closer. The lands to be welded together. That was the purpose of the God. So all you can see from the first itself, God had a purpose. That was connection to be brought between people, minds and all. So it was helpful from the part of this modern wonders to bring connection. A worship new I sing. So he is appreciating, the speaker is appreciating, you captain, voyagers, explorers, you engineers, you architects, machinists, you not for trade or transportation only, but in God's name and for the sake or soul. So he is appreciating all the endeavors of all kinds of peoples, just like captains, voyagers, explorers, engineers, architects, machinists and all. They have done all these not for trade or transportation only, but it was done in the sake of God. That was God's purpose from the beginning itself, to bring a unity between different kind of people, different kind of races, different kind of sexes, to marry and be given in marriage. So this unity had been brought by whom? These captain, voyagers, explorers, engineers, architects, machinists and all. So he is appreciating the works done by all these kinds of people. Here in this stanza, in this section of the poem, the poet is appreciating both modern wonders and ancient Asiatic myths, fables, Bibles, far-darting streams of spirit and lucid dreams and all that is helpful in his passage, in his travel to the world of spirituality. Here, in the second section, Whitman sees a passage to India which is illuminated, explained by Asiatic and primitive fables. The fables of Asia and Africa are the far-darting beams of the spirit, and the poet sings of the deep-diving Bibles and legends. They are equally important as modern wonders in bringing this spiritual journey into success. The spanning of the earth by scientific and technological means is only part of the divine scheme to half the race's neighbors. The poet therefore sings of a worship new, a spiritual passage to India. Okay? Thank you.